Hey there, folks. This is Foggy. This is day 10 of my ill-advised and stupid journey through the realm of solo board games. It's where I'm going to post a video every single day, a playthrough of me and a different solo game. Ideally, as many different solo games as possible. However, there's only 365 days of the year, and there's only 100 in my collection. So let's do the math. This is Welcome To. We've not done the normal version yet, but because we're in the zombie week, we're going to do the zombie version of Welcome To, and we've got the Alexis solo mode here as well. Now, in Welcome To, you are attempting to score points on a little map. Let me grab the thing from over here. This is your little neighborhood, your housing development, and what you're going to do is you're going to try to score as many points as you can based on the map and based on the specific rules of the variant that you're playing. You'll do this by drawing 3 cards at a time, and you'll take the number, you'll take one number, one feature from a different card, and then normally in the solo mode that comes with the base game, you would just discard this other card and it wouldn't matter. In the Alexis solo mode, this card then becomes part of the architect that you're competing against. And at the end of the game, they'll score points based on the value of each house that they have based on their architect card. And you start off with, these architects start out at 1 for the easiest level. They go all the way up to 6, and then there are 4 named architects as well. You've got Ben, who is the designer of Welcome To the default game, Benoit Turpin. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Then you've got Alex, and Alex designed the solo mode. And then Anne and Alan, I believe, are friends of Alex's that got into the game. They each score a different number of points for the various features of their estate, and they will score plans as they come up based on this little weird mechanic here that I'll get into in a moment. In the zombie version, you have some special zombie cards. Let's pull these out. These zombies are going to get shuffled into the deck, and basically when they come out, they will determine which side zombies approach from. You've got from the right, from both sides, and from the left, and they can come up multiple times in the solo mode, simply because of the way that they work. There'll be 3 of them in the deck, and when they do, zombies are going to come in from either the left or the right or both, and then attack the first house that does not have a barricade. So it's really important to get barricades up. And let's go ahead and get this game underway. So we're going to start with the deck here. I'm going to keep this to the side for the moment. We're going to get this set up. We need to take the 3 zombie cards here. We're also going to take the 3 completed cards. These are completed contract cards. I think that's what they're called. Completed plans. And these will determine which plans get completed by the architect, if any. We're going to change the order of them so we're not really looking. And the way that they'll get shuffled in is, we don't need to worry too much about that actually. So we're going to divide the deck up into 2. Roughly equal stacks. Not quite equal. That's a little bit better. That looks equal. And then we're going to take one of the 2 stacks and divvy it up into 2 more equal stacks. There we go. That should be equal. Some of these are upside down. That's nice. And then one of these zombies is going to get shuffled into each of these 3 stacks. And the contract cards are going to get shuffled into the last stack as well. The way this will work is that we're going to have some time to go through the initial deck to get some stuff constructed and get our plans working. And if we can complete a plan, if we can complete a plan first, great. The first time that you complete a plan, you then shuffle the discards back into the construction deck. So the sooner you can complete a plan, the fewer cards that Alexis will get at the end of the game. Also, fewer cards you have to score with. So it's a bit of a give and take. So we're going to shuffle these. I think this may have actually helped. So this is a C922 Logitech webcam that I have over me, like right up here. And I've got the focus set to manual because otherwise it does this weird thing where it pulses on the table. I think that might have been why the focus has been so bad on these first few. But I also had it set up through an additional USB cable. So there was a USB cable that was running from over here on this side all the way under the table, back to the computer over here. And I think that may have been why there was some difficulty with the focus overall. Now, I don't need to shuffle. That's awesome. So sorry about that. Just dropped a card, so there may be a bit of a jump in the video. Go ahead and shuffle these up. The large deck, you really don't have to shuffle that well, simply because you'll have to shuffle that well before, I think. Okay, so there's that. And then finally, we're going to shuffle this last one. This will become our first deck. Trying not to look at the deck, so if the zombie ends up on top, I won't be looking at the zombie. Even though that means I screwed up the shuffle there. I am looking directly up, so I cannot see the cards. All right, there we go. All right, we did not end up with a zombie on top, so good. So this will be the deck that we play through. We're going to pick some cards, pick some plans. So the plans here are set up number 1, number 2, and number 3. And I believe they're just somewhat difficult. They're somewhat in difficulty order. The number 3s are usually a little bit more worth more points, but they're also more difficult to achieve. There are also 3 special plans that come along with the zombie version. This one, I believe, is you have to have barricades on 2 streets fully done. This one you have to have the center 2 barricades. This one you have to use 5 bullets. These are all level 3 difficulty, so we're going to choose one of these at random. So they have that to play with. I'm just looking around to see where I'm going to put them. All right, so that'll be the first one. Then there's a turn. You can turn it over once somebody has actually claimed it. Still the same objective. But once somebody has claimed it, then you can only get the 4 points for doing it second. So it'll be worth 8 points at the start. Hoping that's visible. Let's do 2. And I forget if for the themed ones, if you actually have to use one of the 3s that come with it. We'll go ahead and use one of the 3s. I don't know if you have to or not. I think you do. Let's go ahead and take this one. There we go. And finally, we'll go with the number 3. There we go. We're going to use 5 bullets. All right, that is easy enough to understand. We have to use 5 bullets over the course of the game. We'll set our sheet here. See, I just saw the flash there of the camera get all funky from the focus. So let's go ahead and open the video configuration device. Focus is set to auto, so let's turn that off. Apply, but we'll keep that open, and hopefully this will work. Okay, so to do the solo mode, there are different rules for the different variations, but for the solo mode, the basic one, take a score sheet, split all scoring boxes in 2 by drawing a horizontal line through each one. I should have had a pen at the ready. That would have been the smart thing to do. I got a pen here. Let's hope that it writes. So we'll just draw a line like that. You can all mock my ridiculously, horribly uneven line. But this sets it up for scoring for the solo version. We've done all the shuffling. We've got the city plans in there. We're going to pick an architect. Now, I still feel like garbage for having done the beginner mode on Tiny Epic Galaxies. Like, seriously. Like, that video has yet to come out, and I'm still dreading any mockery that I get for that, because it will be well-deserved. We're going to go with, I think we're going to go with 3. We're going to go with a 3 model. We could go with one of the named ones. Alan is ridiculously difficult. They approve all plans. Alex does not. You know what? Let's go up against Ben. Ben does too. Ben's going to be very difficult to work with. Let's go. Let's go 4. Let's go challenging. Let's make this a challenge. Because honestly, it's a little also, there's a good rule of thumb that solo gaming, you should lose a certain percentage of your games because they are a challenge. Otherwise, you're just, what are you doing? Why are you bothering? And I think the only one I've actually lost so far was the Death Valley one. So I think to have a proper, solo board gaming experience, these have to be more challenging. I have to make them more challenging. So that's what. So I'm going to go with 4 here. That'll be the Architect. I'm going to put the Architect up there so we have that to go up against. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I think with that having been done, we are good to go. As I'm playing, it's been a while since I've actually played this, so I may pause here and there while I try to remember exactly how some of this works. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Let's go with here for the cards. See, now it's all looking all fuzzy again. Let's move that down. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm going to tilt that a little bit so you can see it better. I will get to a point where I actually have this down and well managed and all the rest of it. But let's go ahead. We start by drawing 3 cards. So we're going to have an 8 parks, 7 real estate, and 6 pond, 6 pool. Now, it's more difficult to see on the zombie version because the pools are all green. In fact, it's visually one of the least distinctive things to see overall. For the parks, what you do is if you decide to go with the parks one, whatever street you put the number on, if you put the 8 here, for example, you're going to shade in one of these park areas, and then that means you'll get that many more points for the end of it. So right now we're getting 0 because that's the one that's not shaded. But if we shade that in, suddenly we're getting 2 points for that. And ideally, we want to try to max out the parks in one of our rows. The 7, the real estate thing icon right here, that is going to essentially allow us to fill in the first one of these on one of these real estate sizes. Now, as you're playing the game, you're going to form blocks of a certain size, anywhere from 1 to 6 estates, and maybe even the 1 to 6 are the ones that score. And then you'll get points based on how many walled off estates you have of each size. So if I had, for example, 2 size 6 estates, I'd get 14 points if I had managed to promote that particular size. You can get them all the way up to, I think, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So there's a little bit of a jump at the end here. With the zombie version, in addition to that, you're going to get bullets every time that you get to this level of real estate size. And that means that you can circle one more bullet up here, and you'll use bullets to stop zombies as they are trying to get into your property. We have a goal here of trying to use up 5 bullets. That means we have to acquire 4 more bullets, and we have to use 5 bullets. That's going to be tricky. 6, we've got, this is a pool icon. That means that in addition to doing a 6 somewhere, we're also going to shade in the pool, and then we indicate that we've got that pool down here. That'll give you a little bit higher score as you go along. That is a mouthful. We are going to use 2 of these. We're going to use the number on one and then the symbol on the other. And then the architect gets the remaining one. So if I give the architect this 7, they're going to get 2 points for this at the end of the game. Now, last thing to cover is that the numbers have to go in order from left to right. You go 1, 2, 3. You don't have to be consecutive, but you do have to start low and high. You can do little roundabouts here and there if you want to try to make it more possible to have more numbers, but you do run into that, becomes a penalty later on. There's also something called BIS, which is a pink icon mailbox. I almost never use it, but if you had a 5 here, a BIS would allow you to do a 5 BIS, and then there's a penalty for that at the end of the game. You get penalties for anything over here on the red side. There's a temp agency icon. That's the orange one that's actually right on top here. What that will do is it will allow you to lower the number by 0 to 2. So you can go, or I'll raise it by 0 to 2. So if I had a 7 here and I could use the temp, then I could do anywhere from 5 to 9. And that's really helpful for when you're getting into the middle game and you're trying to, and the late game, and you're trying to close up some of those holes. The final icon is a white fence icon, and the fence icons will allow you to divide up the properties into housing units. And you'll want to do that so that you get enough, take advantage of the real estate scoring down here. And our first city plan is actually to have 2 blocks of 5 each. A housing unit is defined by a group of houses that are consecutive that have a wall on either side. These do have to, if I wanted to turn this into 2 blocks of 5, for example, I would need 1, 2, and 3 fences. You do not automatically start with boundaries on the ends. In addition, you can use in the zombie version, you can use the fence icon to fill in barriers. So if I'm doing 5 here, I can do the barrier on this house as well. And the barriers have to be done in the same house that you're writing the number in, but the fences can go anywhere. If I were doing a 5 up here, I could fill in a fence down here. It just allows me to build a fence anywhere on it. Parks, you have to do on the same street that you're drawing the house on. Pools, you have to do the same house that you're drawing the number in. And I think that pretty much covers it. So our first move here is we've got an 8 park, 7 real estate, and 6 pool. And I think the real estate is the one that I really want to make sure I use. I want to use it on the 5 so I can bump up the 5 value here to get the bullet, and also I want this city plan to become, I should probably explain what this one is, because I don't actually know. And I'm not going to pause the video here. I'm going to show my ignorance here. This one is just simply have 2 housing blocks of 5 units each. This one is used up 5 bullets, and I think this one is have all the pools plus 2 parks on a specific street. Okay, so this one is, I think, it's this middle street has to have all of its pools and all of its parks. So I have to get all the way up here, and I have to have the 3 pools filled in. So that is going to be a challenge. Fortunately, we have some time to build that up. We don't have a lot of time, though. And so my first move is what? It's, I think, to use the real estate, and I think to get this 8 in. I know that I kind of want to put the 8 kind of in the middle. I don't want to put it where the pool is. Oh, and for housing units, for it to count as a group of 5, all the houses have to have numbers. So just because I get 3 fences here, I still need 10 units here to fill in. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put an 8 here. And I'm going to go ahead and complete this. So I've used these 2 cards. Use the number from one, the feature from the other. The architect gets this pool, which is worth 3 points to the architect, and so that might not have been the best idea. That goes into the discard. All right, so now we do 3 more cards. We've got 7, got 9, and we got 10. So we're going to do a temp agency. That's clearly what we're going to do. And the question is where and what and how much. Now, I've got any number I want between 5 and 12 thanks to this. So I think my best bet is the zombies. If I remember correctly, the zombies, if there is no barricade and the house does not have a number in it, cross off an ammo to use it. If you don't have any ammo and you haven't filled the empty space, it's an empty space in the barricade. So yeah, if the house is filled in, I don't think that you fill in this. So I'm going to actually go ahead and fill in. Let's try to protect this as much as possible. We'll go 7 here. And then that will take care of that at least. I don't have to worry about barricading it yet. We'll go ahead and use these 2 and we'll give, doesn't really matter. But that 10 might come in more handy later on, so we'll hold on to that. Or no, we'll get rid of that. The 7 and the 9 I think will be more handy for the middle game. So we'll flip these over. We've got 12 real estate, 13 pool, 10 real estate. So these are all high end. So this is a little bit trickier. I'm still focusing on this top row because I kind of want to get these 5s out of the way. But this is also where I kind of need to get some pools filled in down here. My feeling is that I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got wiggle room of 4 on this street. So if I did pool and I did 10, It gives me a good amount of wiggle room over here. It doesn't give me a whole lot of wiggle room over here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So it gives me a wiggle room of 2. I like that better. If I did 12, I'd have to get 13, 14, 15, which you can actually go all the way up to 17 thanks to the fact that it's there are some temp agency and you can bump it up that way. Oh, and I forgot to mark off the temp agency when I used it. Sorry, that's my bad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to claim this for 12. I'm going to fill in the pool. We've got one pool now down. And that uses up these 2 cards. We're going to give them a real estate, which is better than the pool. So it's something. All right. 1, 7, and 12. And we've got a real estate, a park, and another pool. So now we've got the pool and the 1. So we could do a couple things here. We can either do the 1 up here. The 1 would just knock that out. We then want to use the park so we to go along with it. So that would fill that in there. I like that because if a zombie does come up from the left, it still allows me to keep this block intact. But having a 1 to go along with the pool here means I can get this second objective quicker too. I think, and then in terms of what's most valuable to our architect, both parks and real estate are worth 2. Pool is worth 3. So I kind of want to give her as few pools as possible. So I think I'm going to go 1 and 12. I think it's a bad move. I don't think there's any good moves on this. There's no bad moves. There's no good moves. It's just a move. One nice thing about Welcome To is that because of the way that it's structured, you can play along. Like I'm reading out the cards. You can grab a scorecard off the internet and just play along, and you can see how well you do in terms of a score. We're going to get a 9 real estate, 5 real estate, and 11 park. And I'm trying to make sure I don't get any sort of an idea of what might be coming, if anything. But we should be running into a zombie soon. So 9, 5, and 11. We've got 2 real estate. We've got 1 park. Really doesn't make a difference to the architect which way that goes. So I kind of want to go use the real estate no matter what. If I go 5 here, that does sort of lock me in. If I go 9 here, could go 9 here, and then that would basically only leave 2 spots left on here to worry about. And then I could also go 11 here. Go 5, could go 9. I want 9 here and then knocked off a park. That would get me closer to 2. This is gonna be a challenge to get. I mean, that's gonna be a pain in the ass. Pardon my language. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the 9 here. And I'm going to go ahead and increase the real estate value of this. And if I do 1 more, I get to claim that bullet. So these become part of the discard, and this goes off and becomes another park. 3 more cards. We got the 7 with a pool, 10 with a park, and 14 with a fence. So I think the fence is definitely what I want to use. Problem is neither the 7 or the 10 really allow me to use the fence in a good way. I can't put, actually no, I can put the 7 and 10 anywhere, and then the 10, the 14, that fence, I can fill in it doesn't matter if it's on the same street or not. I forgot that, my apologies. If I do the 10 here, that's 1 less house that I have to worry about. 7, 10, up there doesn't really matter. 7, 10 down, I haven't done anything on this street down here. That's going to be a pain in the butt. I could also do the pool that's on this street. I've got 2 pools already, and I forgot to fill in one of them. I'm very bad at that. I can't do 7 pool, unfortunately, because it's the same card, and there's no way that I'm going to make that a 10. There's no way that that's going to work overall. And if I do a 10 here, I pass up the opportunity to do the pool. I think my best bet is to do 10, 7. Yeah, 7. Does that work? Seven, and then we'll do the fence split in the middle. And I should have looked at the top of the card because I can see the zombie. So we use the fence and we use the 7, and we're giving them the park. We didn't want them to get the fence because the fence is worth 3 points to them. The park is only worth 2. Grr, arg. All right, so we've got a zombie. We've also got a raccoon, 4 and a 15. So the zombie, I think we just simply, I think it gets discarded into the discard deck, and we just draw another card. Might help if I were looking at the actual rules, not the promotional material on the back. When the zombie comes out, the zombies move immediately. They move from the right on this one. We're going to use 1 bullet to stop the horde coming in from the right on this level. But the zombie is going to attack here. We have to throw up some fences around this one. And the zombie's going to attack here. And we have to throw some fences up around this one. So now we need to get another bullet before the other zombie comes out. Otherwise we are screwed. Now we've got 15, 4, and 7. We've got a bis over here. I hate the bis. It's only worth 2 points for them. Park is worth 2. I think there's something about consecutive cards, and I kind of don't want another park there. Got 4. How do I want to do this? I think what I want to do is I kind of want to go 4. No, I want to use the real estate. I want to use the real estate option. I'm not going to use the 7. I'm going to use the 15. I'm going to put the 15 in here, because that will get me closer to the 5 and 5. And I'll use the real estate option and continue to bump this up. And now I've got another bullet, which I think will be needed because I'll need that in case I get another zombie attack. We're going to go 3 more cards. And there's a zombie attack right on the way. And now at least I've got a bullet. But if it is from both sides, I am sort of screwed. So I think my best bet is to do... I know I'm going to lose out somewhere here. In both cases, if it is from both sides, I lose this property and this property. I can still keep that pool, though. And then this one is, I lose this property and I lose this pool. Up here, if I get one of these filled in, then I can use a bullet to stop the other one. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I'm holding on to this 5 and 5 here. So I think what I need to do is I need to use the temp, and I need to use the 11 to make that a 13. So that is now filled in. We used another temp agency. So we'll use those. Put that off to the side. There we go. Grr, arg, and it is the one from both sides. All right, so before we do anything else, we're going to use another bullet to stop one of the 2 zombies on this street, which means the other one still attacks and I still lose the property. All right, that was stupid. There was no way for me to really avoid that, though. In fact, if anything, since there's no way for the zombie to get both houses on this, I should use the bullet on one of these others. So let's use it on the one that would come in from here, so it stops them at the pool. That becomes like that. That goes this way. That's not good. All right. So now we continue on. Zombies are raging, destroying our property here, which means now it's going to be really difficult to get 2 5s in this. I've only got 1 5 available up here. There's no 5 availables now along this row, and I can only squeeze out 1 more here, and I've done nothing to develop that up. So that is kind of screwed. There's only 2 more spots where I can actually build barricades anyway. So that's not great. I think what I want to do is start trying to squeeze out the parks on this row. And so I'm going to need to start building houses. It means I'm going to have to ignore the fence thing unless I use the 8 for it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll use the 8 and the 8 fence because the fence is worth more to them. The other thing to keep in mind is the fences actually define the houses. So the fewer fences they get, the fewer houses they have. And that can actually be something of a benefit. So we'll do 8 there. We'll get the park up by 1. We've now started that at least. We've got another fence, and a park. 2, 3, and 8. I think with this one, we might as well just continue to develop this street now, since we've lost our chance to get that 5 and 5 easily. We'll go ahead and use both of these. We'll leave the 2 for the architect. We'll use the 3 here and bump that up. All right. We do have to get that pool filled in, but now we can do a 4, 5, or 6. So that's good. We've got a 2, 7, and 9. And we still have to follow the number pattern. So none of these can really go in our middle street here. We can, if we want to, use the 2 for the real estate. And I think that is a definite plus. Then we need to get the 7 and the 9 in here. And I think I want to do 7. And I want to do it here. So we'll do 7. And then we'll bump up this one by 1 and we'll get another bullet. All right, so now we got 5, 5, and a little doggy. We've got a fence there. So we don't want to do the 5 there because that will close us out for good. We could do the 5 here and then just draw that in, and then that will close out that fence. Is that a good idea? We know that the last one I think will come from the left, but if there's only one house, then it doesn't really matter. We'll need a bullet to stop it. Same with this one right here. We really have to make sure that we get that filled in before the other zombie comes up. We could go 2 here and then advance the park. We can't advance the park here. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 2... 5 here. That blocks that off. And then I could do 5 and then fence here. So I try to get that. I think that's what I'm going to do. 5 and then fence. I'm not very good at this game. So we got 12, 8, and 12. Can't use 12 or 8 on here. We could use the real estate to bump up one of these other ones. I kind of want to get these 2s up now. We've got 8 and 12. 8 and 12 could go one of these 2 places. It will use up a pool, c'est la vie. 12 could go in here. It could use up, I mean, that would help us fill in this. If we put the 8 there, that really does mess us up with this number here. So I think what I'm going to do is do 12 and real estate. And I'll bump this one up. And hopefully we'll get that bullet before the next zombie comes out. That should be flipped upside down. This is probably going to run off the screen. My apologies. 13, 8, and 9. Now we've got another park. We've got a 13. I think the easiest thing for me to do is just go with 13 in the park and get this one more step closer. I'm also cognizant of the fact that, you know, this can take a little while, the way that I'm playing, so slowly. All right, so I got 3, 10, and 10. None of which do me any good as far as getting these pools filled in. I might as well go with 10 and a pool here, because that will close out this block for potential zombies. I think that's a gimme. because we can do the 10 and we can do the pool. Got one more pool here. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Yep. And then that completes. That's a huge weight off my shoulders. 9, 10, and we've got our first plan, and they're going to complete not just one plan but 2 plans. So number 2, the first one that they do score is the number 2, and I forget how I notate that on here. I think what I do is I draw little lines here and here and here. They're going to go on the bottom. For number 2, they score 8 points. And immediately we go into a reshuffle. So, which is good. Actually, do I do the reshuffle if they do 2 plans at once? Oh, no, it's at the end of the turn. My apologies. So technically, we're going to do 2, then 1, and then draw another card. At the end of the turn, that's when we score it. I could not possibly get number 2, so there's no point in worrying about that. We do get to use these, however. I think my best bet is to... I could use 10 in a pool. That would leave up... It looks like I'm probably going to use one of these anyway. I'm going to lose one of these. I want to try to get one of these, get the 5 and 5 thing done. Can't advance real estate, so I'm not going to get another bullet. I think 10 in a pool. I think I want to go for this. I know that that's going to give a real estate fence to our architect, which we've been trying to avoid. But I think that that is my best move. 15 goes here. And now the whole thing gets reshuffled. So the 1, they're going to score for both of these, the 2 and the 1. They got the 8 for that. So that's now onto that side. According to this, the second card that comes up, the number 1 in this case, they do not score on. So they are going to put that to the side. When the third one comes up, they will score for that. However, when you score the first plan, you then take the discards, you combine them back with the rest of your deck, and you shuffle again. But all the zombies are going to go back in. As far as I know, that's how you do it. If that's not the case, then it should be clear in these instructions. I've read through these instructions a couple times, and it does not say. It's taking a little bit longer than I would like, I will say. But I also did a lot of explanation at the beginning. This game usually takes about 30 minutes. It does not usually take this long. I'm also playing slow because I also know that I'm being critical of how I'm playing, so. And I'm going to look away from the top of the deck so that I don't see if there's a zombie on top. Now, there's only one completed plan left in the deck. And I forget if, when that comes up, we have to stop playing. I don't think so, because they're not scoring for all 3. I think that's one of the conditions of the stopping of the game, for the stopping of the game, is that somebody completes all 3 plans. We can still get this plan. We can still get 3 points for that. We're just not going to get 8. We're not going to be the first one to score. So now we got 9 and 5 on fences, and we got 7 on a temp agency. Ideally, so if we get another fence, I mean, it's going to score 3 points, but it also marks the size of the estate. And what's nice about that is it makes it a nice small estate overall. We can also go a little bit lower. We don't necessarily have to go with 9 or 5. We have some wiggle room there. We actually have anywhere from 3 all the way to 11 if we decide that we want to use a temp agency to help us with that. However, the best place for me to do that would be, I think, here. It would be to use the temp agency to lower either the 5 or the raise the 9 to 11 and get these endpoints filled in. Because that's going to basically allow me to help get closer to closing out that first project there. Sorry, I got a bit of a scratch on my arm. So let's do the 11 maybe? Let's go with 4. Let's go with 4 right here. We're going to use another temp. So that means that we use the 5 and the 7, and this goes into the discard. And now we're going to do some new ones. So now we got 6, 6, and 9. We got a pool here. And I think the choice on that is easy. It's 6 in a pool. Not even thinking about it. And I think these are the two that we're giving up because the... Nope, we're giving up the real estate. We're using the real estate one. Sorry. We're using the real estate 6 and the 9 pool, and then they get this little orange thing, which to them is only worth 1 point. So that's a huge plus. All 3 pools are now complete. We just need to get 2 more parks on here, and we've got that done. We can't do that on this turn because we don't have anything here that will allow us to play. We can't put a number on here using any of these. We've got a 1 or a 12 that can go with the park. We also could do the fence. I think in terms of property, there are no more houses that are empty that are not barricaded. So there's no point in building any more barricades. What I want to do is I want to get that 12 would be great here, except I'd have to lower it by 1. I can't do that. I could go 1 here, honestly. I could go 1 there and do the park. I think that's my best bet, is to do 1 in a park. One in a park, and we'll give them the little orange thing that's only worth 1 point to them. So now we got 3 more. We got 4, 5, and 6. We've got BIS, real estate, and 6. I think we want to use the real estate option on this, and I think we're going to go with a 6 there. We're starting to run out of options for where we can put numbers. That's actually going to become a big problem, is that there's no way that we can get through this deck. But yeah, let's do that. Let's use 6 here. It doesn't really matter if it's 4 or 6. We squander our opportunity at the pool. We're going to fill this in. We get another bullet. So these 2 go. And the big reason that we want to use the 6 is so that we can give them this, which is worth fewer points to them. 14, 8, and 8. So I think this is a pretty much a no-brainer. We're going to go 14 here. We're going to 6 here. We're 1 away from completing that park. They get the other park. Same card. 13, 5, and 9. So 13 could go here or here, but we really don't want to do that. We can't adjust it all. We've now completed almost everything in this row except for 1 square. We've completed almost everything in this row for 1 square. So I think we actually have to do a permanent refusal. A permanent refusal is when you can't build anymore. So you have to refuse the permit, and then it costs you negative points at the end of the game. And I think you have to go through 3 permanent refusals. And if you do more than that, then the game is over. Just going to quickly check here. How y'all feeling, by the way? Currently, my wife is a little sick. She's not feeling well. Yeah, if you cross off their third building permit refusal, or you built all the houses on your street. So, and I'm hoping that that's going to come into play first. So what I can do is I can do the 13. I can avoid that altogether, and I'll build up one of these. I'll go with that. I'll squander the pool because I don't want to use a permanent refusal. So 13 and 9 go over there. This goes in here. I really should take care of that. 11, 14, and 14. I just realized I'm never going to get number 2. How did I not realize that? I have no more opportunities to get the parks on here. I am a moron. I am sorry. I am wasting everyone's time. We've got the 11 here. We've got a fence. We're going to use that. We're going to use those two. They get another park. We get 9, 6, and 4. We've got some wiggle room here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the 9 and the 4 here so that I can go ahead and close this out with an 11. I squander the pool there. But I do manage to finally complete the first city plan. I get the number 8 here. So that's done. 6 goes here. They get another estate. We're going to get a zombie. Zombies attack from the left. There's no way to do anything about them. There's no effect that they're going to have on the properties. But I can use 2 more bullets to knock out the zombies to kill them dead. So if I get one more bullet, which I can do with this one, I can then use the bullet on the next zombie, and at least I'll complete the other plan, and at that point the game will be over and I no longer have to sweat any of this. So we're going to use 8 somewhere, or we're going to use 9 or 10 somewhere, which we can't do. We can't use that anywhere. That's awesome. That's great. I can only use the endpoints, and that's not going to do it, the trick. I could use 9 and 10 to try to get something going. But even then, I'd have to get all the way up to a 14, and I don't have anything big enough for that. So this is actually my first permit refusal. That's going to get filled in here. I can do 1 more without losing any points for that. Now we get another zombie. That doesn't have any effect here. 11, 12, and a pool. This 3 would be great down on this end, except I kind of need... You know what? I'm going to go 3 and 12. I'll do 3 here. I'm going to squander the pool because otherwise I can't squeeze it in. But I can go here, get that bullet, so now at least I can try for that last one. So that was 3 and the real estate, and they're going to get another fence. 8, 4, and 7. I think I have to do a permit refusal here because I don't have any place to put 4, 8, or 7. That's another one. Now I will lose 3 points for that. Yay. Fence 3 and 7. That would be great if this weren't on the 3. Come on. Fence, and that's not going to matter, and I'm going to lose the point there. I've crossed that off. I have to do a permit refusal. They still get a card for when I do a permit refusal. My apologies. I think I forgot to do that. We'll give them the temp agency one. Did I have a temp agency? I did not, so they'll get this. I think I have a stack. I think I kind of screwed the pooch on that last little bit there, so my apologies. But then that's it. That's the game, and I did not do very well at all. I did want a challenge, and I think I gave myself a challenge, and I think I challenged myself with really bad gameplay. You saw all the cards, so I'm sure you could have done better with the cards that came out, and I'll be interested to see how you did. Came very close to getting this, but did not get it. Did not get that because I screwed the pooch on that. I did get my 2 5s, so I at least got that. So when we're scoring, there's a whole thing about scoring this that is separate from scoring this. So I'm going to do my scores first. I'm going to get 8 points for this. For the parks, I got 2 plus 8 plus 0. That's going to be 10. I did 4 pools. Let me just make sure that is correct. I did 5 pools. I forgot to cross one off. It's really easy to do. 17. I forget how the temp agency scores on this. And I think it's just simply I count the number of temp agencies that they actually do have. It's very important that you do not change the order of this. The order of the discards actually matters quite a bit. Let's check this. Compare the number of temp agency cards of the AAA with the number of temp agency boxes you checked off to determine who gets 3. 7 and 4 or 0 points for anyone who did not use the temp agency. So they used 1, 2, 3, 4. They used 1 more than I did. So they get 7 and I get 4. All right. End game. The end game ends when the construction earns a variable number of points according to the chosen architect. 0 to 4 for each park card. So we'll go ahead and count these out. Since we already know the plan total, they got an 8. We should go ahead and do the parks and the pool. So we've already done those on mine. I know this is a little disjointed. My apologies. They're going to get 3 for each pool and 2 for each park. So parks first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They got 8 for the parks, so that's 16 total. They are crushing me. For the pools, I don't think I gave them that many pools. 1, 2. I gave them 2 pools. That's not too bad. That at least I did a little bit better on. Temp agency we've done. Real estate, we're going to count that up in just a moment here. So for the real estate ones, you look at how each of your housing estates and whether or not they're completely filled in. So these 2 on the end are not going to count. They're not going to be worth anything because I don't have numbers on these. However, I do have 1, 4, 1, 5. So we'll go ahead and mark these off just like this. We've got 1, 1 over here. Got another 4. Probably would have helped to build this one up. 2 and then a 1. That doesn't count. That's a 5 and then a 1. We're going to score 3 points for each of our 1 unit properties, so that is 9 points total. We're going to score 4 points for each of our 2 unit properties, that's 4. Nothing for the 3s. I really should not have developed what was I doing thinking of developing the 3s? Why didn't you stop me? I will, however, score 4 points for each of my 4s to give me 8. I can do math. Let's see, I'm going to get 8 for each of my 5s, so that's a 16-point total there. And then the way that this is calculated is a little bit different. I'm going to do that at the end. I did not use any bisses. I did not use any roundabouts. I could have used a roundabout at some point to continue the game. Might have been worth it. However, I'm going to lose 5 points for that. So my total is 18, 35, 39, 48, 52, 60, 76, 71. Horrible, horrible score. As you can see, they, for their estates, points for the 5 largest housing estates. Each set of cards between 2 fence cards represents a housing estate. A fence is considered present at the beginning and end of the stack. A's housing estates have no size limit, and for each housing estate, houses times value equals points. So number of houses in each housing estate. What we're going to do is we're going to do it this way. We'll deal these out until we hit a fence. I don't know how that got in there. That's because these are not the discards. These are this. So that's 1. That's 2. That's a 3rd. It's a 4th. That's huge. Okay, so number of houses in a housing estate. Each card is worth 2, between 2 fences, worth 1 house. Each bis card worth 1 to 4. According to this, it's worth 2. The value of each house, 1 point if there are no real estate agent cards in the housing estate. 1 to 4 points if there are 1 or more real estate agent cards in the housing estate. Got it. So I think that means, oh, I did very badly here. So this is going to be brutal. That alone, I think, just pretty much just sank me. But the housing estates, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to score points for each one. There are no houses in this one, I think. So neither of these are worth anything. These are just worth 0. This is worth 2 houses times 2. That gives you 4. This is going to be So we'll do this like this: 0, 0, and 4. This one did not have any real estates, but I do have 1 bis. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 points. This is going to hurt. It's going to hurt big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 times 2, because there is 1 real estate card in this deck, and I really should have paid more attention to that. That's 21 points right there. So their total, 42 points, I'm sorry, 42 points. 21 times 2. That blows. So they're going to get 8, 16, that's going to be 24, 30, is that right? Yeah, 30, 37, 48, 90, no negative points. They crushed me. I have lost. That is the end of the game. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a humiliating defeat. I did so poorly on this, but honestly, it's good to have the challenge. I might do this one again. It definitely would help if I remembered how to play the solo game, so maybe in the future I should warm up with the game. What a bizarre concept. Thank you for joining me on day 10. Day 11 will be tomorrow. We'll be doing Dead of Winter at that point, which technically does not have a solo mode. It only has fan-made solo modes, and we'll get into that tomorrow. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start putting this away. I'm going to pull the zombie stuff first. So the zombie 3s. And then there should be a bunch of zombie cards in the discard, as well as 1 more in the deck. Where are they? There's none there. I think we actually encountered all of them. Did we? There's 1, 2, 3 times a lady. All right, so we're missing 1. Where'd the other one go? There's the other one. All right. These are now sort of all messed up. There we go. So the 3 zombie cards and the 3 zombie things, they'll go back in my little deck of magic cards that I have for all sorts of different variants. These are the summer ones. These are the Halloween ones. There's a winter one. There's a Fallout one. And then that's it. But it's kind of interesting the way that there are so many different variants. We're going to then take the Architect card, put them back into the solo deck, as well as the 1, 2, 3 cards. That's it for them. That'll go on top here too. So we've got all my special cards. Then we're going to take the deck, put that together. We've got the remaining 3s here. We've got the 2s here. We've got the 1s here. And we've got a completed approved plan here that I forget exactly how that's used. And then we've got the deck here. So we're going to tear this off. This goes into the completed deck. Completed towns. See some of my other ones right here. 85 to 53, so I did not do very good the one time I played this before. Probably for the same reason. We've got a couple other ones here. Very fun game. Overall, we're going to put that at the bottom. Hide our defeat like we were burying poo as if we were a dog. It's going to go back other with the other score pads. Knock the camera around. And then, let's see. I've been trying to keep the rules. Yeah, the solo can go right on top. I've been trying to keep the rules for each variant in the box with everything else. So, solo variant there. Put this down at the bottom, actually. Then we've got the zombie rules, and then a bunch of other rules as well. So, and then some really neat reference guides here. So, and then I love the reference guides, but they're very not useful for solo play on this. That's gonna go there. We'll do this next. And then we'll put the decks of cards, and these will just simply go in the corners, which will probably look horrible to some of you. Some of you are probably screaming at me right now, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's go on top, and we've put the game away. really do have to get those special little bandy things that go around cards. Anyway, that is it. Thank you for joining me for this stream. I will see you tomorrow. Do all the YouTube things. Click like, click subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications. Please let me know if I made errors in the game, if I messed up how it's played. If you have suggestions for future games, leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think of the stream quality, because I know that I've been struggling to get it to look right. I don't even think that my hand looks clean. If you have any tips for what I could be doing better, I mean, I've got equipment for days here, and apparently just not using it right. For those of you who want to know my setup, I'm using Streamlabs OBS to do the video recording. It should be working fine. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. But nonetheless, ciao everybody. I will see you tomorrow.